Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Rush Hour Talk. This is officially the season finale of season one. This is Pete.
This is Ray.
So, what's up, Ray? How you doing, bro?
Hanging in there, man. Election's over. Christmas is about to come and go. Years. I'm just ready for 2021 and whatever challenges and opportunities that may bring.
Yeah, what some of the things that we were able to kind of go through and learn through this podcast with some of the special guests that we had really made 2020 much more bearable. We stayed in touch with a lot of them. We learned a lot of new things from everybody. And seeing that it was like me and Ray's first time, it was a huge learning curve. But with that being said, though, I mean, Ray, did you have fun doing this? I mean, like, did you enjoy doing this? I know it was a lot of work, but at the end of the day, I mean, like, what's some of the takeaways that you got from this?
Yeah, this was really fun and extremely enjoyable. And to be 100% honest with you, I remember the day you asked me. I think it was asked me to do this with you was after we might have had a group call or something, and then when you called me, you asked me about it. I didn't put too much thought into it before I said yes. I mean, from talking to you, it just sounded like it was this thing that you were so excited about, and in my mind, it's like, you know what, this is my boy. Let me help my boy. I'm gonna do this with him. So I just did it, and then all of a sudden I start getting shipments of like super high end gear at home. I'm like, whoa, what is this? So it was then that I knew that you had put in a whole lot of thought into this, and to be honest with you, like, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. This is kind of like when I trusted you. It's similar to when we first moved in, which I know we'll talk about later. Like, I signed that lease without even seeing the place.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So this was pretty much kind of the same thing where you called me and I signed the lease, without knowing what was going to happen. And as we began, I started realizing how much work was going to get into it. But every single episode, I learned a lot about about each other and also the people who were interviewing, and it's been great. Chelsea tells me she loves it. For myself, watching some of these episodes, I have a hard time watching it because I don't like listening to myself.
It's a trip, right?
Yeah, so I'm just like, and I'm always critiquing every little thing about myself, what I'm doing, but overall, like, I think I've been getting a lot of positive feedback from a lot of our friends. Some friends that I haven't even spoken to a long while have been hitting me. I'm telling me how much they like it.
What's some of the feedback that you've gotten?
I think the one that I can remember the most was from Janet. She told me that watching the episode with you, me, and Emily, it really did felt like she was in the room and just kicking it with us, and that one was like, wow, The other one was from my baby sister, which is surprising because I didn't expect her to watch it. She was like, wow, like Emily seems like a badass. And I'm like, what, you're watching this? And I had my landlord reach out to me. I had no idea that I was friends with them on Facebook.
You're a landlord?
Yeah, which is, yeah. You're like, the thing you're doing is pretty cool. And I was like, what? You watch this?
In all of these episodes, did you feel like each episode was the same?
No, I didn't think each episode was the same. It's always different. Each episode made me feel a different type of way. All positive thoughts, but it just, in each episode there was a deeper connection with the person we were interviewing. And in some of these episodes, let's take say Tommy, Bez's, or Annie's. These are people that I've throughout the years I've always had a constant communication with them. But even then, because of those episodes, there was an even deeper connection and learning stuff about them that I didn't even know.
Yeah, and it really gave us a chance to talk to these very special people in our lives on like a more intimate one-on-one basis, because as we all know, when we're in a group, we act as a group. We don't get too deep into things or anything like that. But this was really a chance for you and I to showcase those intimate conversations that we kind of had and kind of encapsulated all in, in a podcast of all things.
The other thing that made every episode definitely different was that each episode there was some sort of technical glitch that happened that was different. Obviously, Peter's your editing magic kind of got rid of all that, but each episode there was always something that happened, from forgetting to record to audio going out. So.
Yeah, man, I knew who I wanted the first episode to be with. I wanted it to be with Emily.
Yeah,
and the reason being is because she's such a remarkable, strong woman. Mm-hmm. And she speaks her mind.
Yeah, she does. Stubbornly. But, yeah.
And more than anything, I knew that if we had her on and we get through her episode, it would set the tone for the rest of the season.
Yeah. I think Dave Wang is one of the things that I appreciated about that episode was, like when he talked about education in Taiwan and how, it's either science, lawyer, engineering, all that stuff, nothing creative, and that sort of thing. And that really, really got to me. And then how much he talked about how he just appreciated America's way of education.
Yeah.
And, how we see it, how we treat the arts and stuff like that. I never really saw it from that perspective of not having the ability to, be yourself, and then if you are trying to be yourself, how your community kind of ostracizes you. And it was refreshing to hear that from him because, as Americans, 2020, there's a lot of things that's happened in 2020 that makes you feel like, damn, it's kind of sucks sometimes in America, So with David Wang kind of brought it back like, hey, you know what? Kind of reminds you, this is where, despite everything that's gone on, we still live in, one of the best places to live, Yeah,
and not to say that it excuses anything that's happening.
Oh, hell no.
Doesn't mean it's right, but always appreciate the things that we've always had and the people around us.
Tommy's episode, obviously for the both of us, it kind of hit us the same way. He was like, the wise man, teaching his Padawan. Big bro. Yeah, big bro, and. Obviously, Kat, I think that was one of the first episodes that Kat Dang watched, and it's her brother. She communicates with him all the time, and she told me that there were things from that episode she didn't know. She didn't realize how tough it was for him to become a father, and how his comments or insights on that kind of is helping her now with her child. So it was wonderful to hear that from her. That what we created helped her, in that way, being a new mother and all.
We've heard a lot throughout the season about how you grew up when it was here and things like that. But truth be told, we don't know a lot about what it was like for you when you were in Ghana before you even got here. I know you were extremely young, you know what I mean? But do you remember any of the reasons or things that you experienced there that eventually kind of had your family want to come over here?
I honestly, I don't know why why there was I would say a desire to come here because I was so young. But we grew up in a fairly decent sized home in Ghana. It was I was fortunate enough that my grandma was able to put me through school, because in Ghana at the time there was no public education. So my grandma had her own store where she sold kente cloth.
Kente cloth.
Kente cloth. Yeah, it's an Ashanti thing. Google it. Yeah, kente cloth. Or maybe have my sister come on, Sheila. She can tell you all about it.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so she was able to put me through school, and I was able to go to a good enough school where my teachers were Brits, and that's why I think we've shared before that I had a bit of a English Ghanaian accent a little bit. I remember how I learned how to ride a bike going down a hill trying to avoid this pit that had scorpions in it. I just remember that vividly for some reason. It's weird. And my buddy and I were just riding our bike. It was just like I didn't know how to ride it, so we just kind of hold on, go down the hill and figure it out. There was that. I think I told people about my turtle story.
I think I remember.
Yeah, I went to school. I had a pet turtle. And it was my first ever pet, and I went to school. Came back, my turtle was gone. Didn't know what the hell where it was, and then turns out my neighbor found it and cooked it. Fuck you! You're laughing. Yeah, yeah. But,
That's fucked up, man. I'm sorry, dude.
if you didn't know this about me, I have a soft spot for turtles. That's why I loved Ninja Turtles growing up.
Oddly enough, we have a little tortoise here.
Yeah, I know. You know, yeah, but I'm afraid to get a pet. Yeah, I have a step cat now. Chelsea, you know.
Oh yeah.
Chelsea's pet, which is now my pet too. Or
Her
cat.
name's Barbara Streisand, right?
Right. Yeah. The other things I remember vividly from school is back then. I don't know what it is like now. In Ghana, teachers were allowed to hit you if you're misbehaving in class.
Yeah.
And I remember getting hit a lot because I definitely misbehaved.
I can see that. you got a little rebel in you, Raymond. I can see that.
We lived in a fairly large city called Kumasi, and it was just I feel like the city was built like, and it was different. I mean, I remember one time there was a snake in our yard, which is kind of trippy.
What kind of snake was it? Do you remember?
I want to say cobra. I could be wrong, but I just remember the neighbor coming over and chopping his head off.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, which is seeing a snake in your yard is not very common in California, but I know it's very common in like Florida and stuff like that, Everglades. But yeah. I mean, I was probably 6 or 7 when I came here, so I just I don't remember a whole lot. But
well, I mean, let's fast forward a little bit. Then I know you came here with you and your British accent and.
British Ghanaian, yeah. I will tell you this: the first meal I had when I landed in the USA was good old Kentucky Fried Chicken. That was the first meal. Yeah, and to this day, I know exactly which Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's on Western, and damn it, it's the biggest one on Western, and K-Town, Western, and. I mean, it's not Normandy, but it's right there, Western. Yeah,
no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's huge, right? It's yeah.
Thanks. So you got here and you straight landed and started your American life here straight in K-Town.
Yeah, it was straight. Yeah, my dad lived in K-Town, so we straight went to get. Yeah.
Wait, so that means which school did you go to? And
the first school I think it's called Bellevue Primary School. That school was like 90% Korean.
So after that, I think you went to junior high, and you went to Virgil Middle School, correct?
It was Bellevue Primary. Bellevue was, I can't remember why, but Bellevue only went from grades 1 to 2, and then I went to a school called Alexandria, which is elementary school 3rd to what? What does the elementary school end at again?
5th? What?
Elementary school ends at 5th grade, right?
5th, yeah. 5th or 6th.
Yeah. So then I went to Alexandria, which is a little bit more diverse. Then came Virgil, then Belmont, then Cal State Northridge.
So after all that, and you ended up in Virgil, right? Virgil Middle School. That's where you met most of the friends that you still have today.
Yeah.
And there still are, they're pretty much they're our family at this point.
Yeah. I wouldn't say most, but that's where the family started.
How Ray and I met was through a specific magazine. We had a shared interest. That magazine, that relic, is now called East Bay Magazine. I don't know if you remember all that stuff. But all I remember is that I was in the classroom. I think I was looking at the magazine. I think you were sitting diagonally behind me. Not directly behind me, but diagonally behind me, right? And I think you saw that I was reading a magazine, or that magazine of East Bay, and I think you had the same magazine or something like that. And I think you leaned over, and I don't know, do you remember what you even said? Or you're like, hey.
So you're saying I made the first move?
Well, I was sitting in front of you. I didn't turn around.
Okay. I don't remember. Okay.
I'm almost 100% sure you made the first move, because one of the things that I remember was that I was looking at the magazine, and I think you tapped me on my shoulder. Mm-hmm. And maybe you just wanted to take a look at the magazine, or you said, oh, hey, I have that too, or something to that extent, right?
Yeah, I mean, the weird thing is, like, after the East Bay moment, it's like, it was just oh, we're friends. Like, like I don't remember all the nuances and like how, because like when you first introduce yourself to someone, it's you had go through that period of like it's weird, not, I mean, not all the time, but it just went from, hey, what's up, to us kicking it at your house, ditching and having your mom catch us, at your place, so yeah, into like always our group growing and always celebrating everybody's birthday, and making them feel very, very special and all that stuff. So
yeah. Somehow we found a collective, and I do remember that we were one of those groups that collectively celebrated each other's birthdays together.
I do remember you and Ken. Was it you? It's definitely you. You had you. I think it was you. You were the first friend that I had with a cell phone.
It's because my mom wanted to keep a fucking leash on me. Like, she needed me to be able to tell her exactly where I'm at.
How old were you when you got your first cell phone?
I know I was in ninth grade.
I didn't get mine till I was a freshman year in college.
Really?
Yep. And I remember it was a singular phone plan. I got it on campus. There were just, back then, like, you had credit card companies, cell phone companies all trying to hawk things to college students. And then I had a little bit of money then, so I got my first cell phone. But I remember using it all the fucking time, calling people, while walking to my class. And I remember my first bill being close to $400.
Jesus, $400 for a freshman in college is off the hook, man. That is crazy.
Back then, they didn't have unlimited plans, and every single text message you sent cost you like 10 cents. I didn't know that shit. Yeah.
So why are you so hyperactive with your phone, bro?
I mean, dude, you think about this. I went through 4 years of my friends, you, even Annie, a bunch of people having cell phones around them, and I remember always having to go to the payphone to call people. I was jealous as fuck. I was jealous as fuck about you guys. I was envious. So at freshman year, I was able to get a cell phone. And
did you get a car before you got a cell phone?
Yeah.
Hey, your priorities are good, though.
I got a car. I got a cell phone. Yep. It's ridiculous, man. It's like, hey, I'm outside. Oh, go to the payphone. Yeah.
I always felt like, if I had like the stupid idea of like, hey, you want to match tomorrow when we go to school, and you want to wear these same Jordans, same white shorts, same baby blue jacket and shirt. It's like I would turn to you, and you were like, yeah, or I don't know if it was your idea or my idea, but collectively it was always like, yeah, I'm down.
You talk about that like that actually happened.
Yeah, it was way too specific to be general. Yeah, no, that actually happened. And it was just like, for me, I don't know how you felt about it in high school, but for me, I felt like outside of, like my hometown friends I grew up with, or my relatives, I felt safe with you. I felt like myself. I felt like I could explore these things. And this was even before like this whole like Black and Chinese thing was happening in the media, right? Because, before Rush Hour, before like Romeo Must Die, before Cradle to the Grave, or DMX and Cisco doing crazy, collaborations, like with, the Black culture and the Chinese culture and things like that. There was Pete and Ray, right? Or Ray and Pete, right?
Too funny.
And it's silly when we think about it now, but when I also look back, it's like I feel so lucky. You know what I mean? I was so fortunate because we were kind of afforded kind of like a brotherhood, or like a relatively kind of like a fun childhood, just through you and our collective friends and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We didn't have anything, but we had each other.
Yeah, for sure. For me, it was very, very helpful for just my mental well-being to have you and everyone else around, because school was, my escape. Home wasn't really great, and it was because of you. Even though it was just you and your mom. Annie, Kat, all you guys. Being around your families, what showed me what families should be like. And it definitely, I learned to be a better friend because of you guys. I learned to socialize better with people because of you guys. And then there were some of my other buddies too, like Darwin, Edwin, it's just the list goes on and on. Just the relationships I built with them helped me just overall just to meet new people and just become a better person.
Yeah, and I think I met a lot of people, especially at Belmont, just because I was also your friend.
Likewise. It's the same for me. Like Emily wouldn't be in my life, other kin, but
people would have heard of Emily at some point in their lives.
I've had a lot of really, really good friends. I mean, there was a certain part of my life I only hung out with Filipinos. Like Phil, Robbie.
They're great basketball players too.
100%. And then we always have me, Gil, Patrick, Reyno. This bunch of list goes on and on. But all those guys, I don't think they knew this at the time, but hanging out with them was my escape. I looked forward to getting on the court with them, going to random Vegas trips and doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's a really good point. They're also really amazing people. I remember, again, those are the people I kind of met through you as well. I remember I knew them. Obviously, we partied together, we hung out. They were just such positive and encouraging and supportive people that, why wouldn't anybody, who appreciates that, why wouldn't they want to be around that? I remember they even invited me to play on Good Life.
Yeah.
Shout out to that Good Life crew over there. You guys invited me and allowed me to win a championship with you guys that one season.
Yeah, there's a photo of it somewhere.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And it wasn't like you guys were just being nice. I mean, like they actually found some value and they like put me in the rotation pretty regularly. And I was like, oh, this is cool. They don't even know how I play that well, but I guess I'm Ray's friend. So
I put in a good word, bro. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I only ever really cared about school because I only wanted to make grades to play basketball. So yeah, I didn't give a shit about anything else but basketball at the time. And Belmont, for what it is, Belmont doesn't, unless you have the right teacher, the right people around you, Belmont doesn't overall, I felt, prepare you for the next stage, and I think you guys did. And if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have, had a desire to go to college, because for me, if I didn't go to college, I would have felt left out from the group,
But have you gotten all that heat, like, oh, Ray's just trying to be Asian? Like, how did you?
Yeah, he's bringing that up. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna name any names, but there were some people that would always say that to me. Ray's trying to be Asian. Ray's got Asian fever. Blah blah blah. All this stuff, and I don't know. At the time, I think those people who were saying that to me, I don't think they meant it in a hurtful type of way, and I think at the time I didn't really take it as such, but over time it definitely did bother me, but I didn't ever make it apparent. And in some ways they were right in the sense that wasn't necessarily I was trying to be Asian, but I was trying to be part of the crew, like not trying to, it's with any group, any group of people you hang out with, you all kind of start dressing the same type of way, start speaking the same type of way, start liking the same type of thing. So it wasn't me. I was trying to be you guys.
Yeah.
But in some ways, that also having many multicultural friends has also helped me become more tolerant, of shit. I truly embrace all different races, all different backgrounds, all different religions, and things like that. And I think because I wasn't just Ray, all I ever grew up with was, Africans and all black people, and all that was around me was all people that looked like me. Because of that, gave me a different outlook on life and just a positivity about everyone. Yeah. Everyone's different, but at the end of the day, we're all striving for the same thing, just to better ourselves. And
So some of the things that maybe a lot of people don't know about you and I is we live together. And I think you brought up the whole thing about the podcast and how you kind of just went head first and you just kind of said, all right, I'm down. It was a very, very similar situation as far as how we ended up living together.
It was similar and it was also different. Like at the time, I really, really wanted to get the fuck out of my current living situation. I was sharing a bedroom with my two sisters. I mean, it was a horrible situation. And I really, really wanted to move. And I remember you and Danny just needed that third roommate because you guys found a 3-bedroom townhouse. You know, and I remember you guys hit me up and you guys were asking me about it, and it's going back and forth. And I wanted to do it, but I also knew that I should probably see this place first. But then I was like, fuck it. Here. Every time I signed it, and I hadn't even seen what my room was going to look like. I didn't even know what the building was going to be. Yeah. Yeah, but that turned out to be one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. It was the first time in my life that I had my own washing machine instead of using coin-operated laundry. Yeah, it felt awesome to be able to, you know, before a date, go downstairs and wash my dirty underwear. Yeah, instead of put coins in there. But
I remember thinking, you know, we really have limited options as far as, you know, who we can live with and who we're compatible with. And at the time, you already knew who Danny was, and everybody was familiar. And you know, we're all homies anyway. But I also felt like, you know, I hope he says yes, because we literally had like 48 hours or something like that to,
yeah.
to like find a roommate. So I call you up, and I didn't even give you that much time. And I think we just had like one conversation, and then you called me back and you said, "Fuck it, I'm down."
Yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah. I was stressed. I was like, I need to get the fuck out where I'm at. Yeah.
Well, what was remarkable about that was you needed to sign it before that 24-hour mark ended, and you said, "Fuck it, let's do it." And you committed for a whole year.
Yeah, you know.
And here's the craziest part, right? Like after you signed it, we moved in. We didn't realize we were living next to some of our friends.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, Eddie, Donnie.
Yeah. And I think his sister.
I didn't know his Eddie's sister till then, but it was like, I remember my first time walking to go check out the place. I'm like, what the hell? What's Eddie doing here?
No, I had the same reaction. I was like,
I hadn't seen Eddie in forever, and this is a guy that I went to middle school with. If you didn't know Eddie Sugasum, he was like the coolest mofo in middle school. Pissed me off too. He used to piss me off in middle school.
Dude, wish we could be like Eddie in high school. Right? No, but the fact of the matter was that it wasn't just like, you know, they were in the same complex or anything. They were right next door to us in that townhouse. Like we shared walls with these guys, and like it was that moment we knew that, oh man, it's gonna be fucking wild living here.
Fun. It was really fun living there. Yeah.
And what I remember from there too is like you and I. And Danny as well. We had a lot. I mean, we were 3 very different people.
Yeah, we were. I think we got along very well, but we were also 3 alpha males, and having 3 alpha males, we did butt heads, but you know, it's what brothers do.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of where like our partying career really started.
No. Actually, no, because we still had your Pasadena house, you know.
I know that, but I mean, like, this is where we got like professional with it, right? Like in Pasadena, we were still kind of like college kids, you know what I mean? Like even when I was at UCLA, we were still going to clubs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But like we had a job.
Yeah.
You know, we had a job now. We had more time. We were able to do more things. So, you know, we were able to travel and go places and stuff like that. So I feel like that was kind of the beginning of our professional partying experience. You know, we weren't amateurs anymore. It wasn't necessarily just about house parties and things like that. You know, fast track, you moved to Northridge, I think with a couple of our high school friends as well. Yeah. And I do remember going to quite a few parties that you guys would throw as well. And that was the infamous Red Velvet incident, right?
For those of you guys who don't know, back in the day, I used to make a lot of edibles. They used to call me the Muffin Man. Baked goods. Yeah, I got into cooking like crazy. I used to watch the Food Network when I was bored, Bobby Flay and stuff like that. And I decided to infuse it with butter and olive oil. So like anytime if I was frying something, I'm like, let me fry some chicken. I made some chicken wings like that. Yeah. White chocolate macadamia nut cookies. And then one time Peter came over and ate one of my one of my red velvet cupcakes I made.
I mean, the red velvet sticks with me because it felt like a life or death situation to me, right? So the story goes as follows. So I got to the party, and I think it was like an hour and a half or something like that into the party. Raymond pulls out of the oven these, really good, great smelling red velvet cakes, and he's like, "Hey, you should try it." I was like, "Sure." And I think the suggested dosage at the time was like you should try no more than half or a quarter.
Yeah. A quarter of this cupcake. That's it.
So I started off with a quarter, and and like I think like 20 minutes passed by or something like that. I didn't feel anything, and then so I took the other quarter. Okay. And then I was like, shit, I don't feel anything, but I'm about to leave the party, so I'm gonna fucking eat this shit. So I took that quarter and I put it in my mouth. And as I was swallowing it, the other half at this point, I felt it creep in. And I was like, oh.
I wasn't with you when you creeped in. You had left.
Right now, I have 3/4 of that red velvet in me, okay? And so I'm like, this isn't good. I gotta go. Like, I gotta leave. I think I was able to say bye to everybody. I was so high for like 8 hours. I was high. But like the worst part is in the middle of that 8 hours, I remember I had to get up. I made my way to the bathroom. I looked in the mirror. I don't know if my mind was fucking with me, but somehow I came up with the idea that, holy shit, I have fucking skin cancer. I have skin cancer and I'm going to die. And I started hyperventilating. And
wait, I didn't know you were hyperventilating. I didn't know that part.
Yeah, I mean, I was hyperventilating because I was high. I was like, because I couldn't feel myself breathe either. I was trying to feel myself breathe. And then I kept looking at my neck like my skin's discolored. You know what I mean? But it was summertime. You have weird tans and weird marks on your necks and stuff like that.
All right, hold on. Ooh.
Or I don't even know when I actually finally told you, but I fucking told you. And all you could do was fucking laugh at me, right? You're like, you fucking idiot. Like I told you to eat a quarter and so on and so forth. And you know better and shit like that. And I was like, yo, man, that's probably one of the scariest moments of my life, man.
Technically, I can't count that as the first time I got you fucked up because I actually didn't get you fucked up. You did it yourself. I told you a quarter. I didn't, because normally I'm like, hey, take this shit, or like, So this time was all you, bro. I told you the right dosage.
So anyway, that's what I remember about Northridge. And so, so what a year. 20 motherfucking 20. When we first started this podcast, Ray, I don't know if you remember, but it was some grim ass shit going on. You know what I mean?
Actually, to me, 2020 ends on January 20th.
So one of the first things that I kind of want to start off with 2020, it was such, a hopeful year for so many people. People were like going into this 2020, that's going to be our year. This is the year for everybody. And it wasn't. You know what I mean? And it wasn't. It started off beyond fucked. And I'm going to go ahead and start right off with it. Everything seemed fine. And then on that one fateful day, January 26th, what happened?
Kobe.
Ray, do you remember where you were and when you heard it?
I was at home cleaning around the house. There was a group text going on. And Gil posted something, and it was a TMZ article about Kobe dying in a helicopter crash. And Media Reacts was like, "Get the fuck out of here," So, and I didn't believe it, but it was TMZ, and TMZ does mostly stupid celebrity stuff. They actually, legit news when they break it at least. Immediately hopped on the computer, Googled Kobe Bryant, and there was nothing. And then little by little, stuff started popping out. And then you were the first person that called. I didn't get through the first time. I don't know if it was the second or third time that I got through. I'm like, oh shit, Kobe died. I just remember like my body just felt weird. I didn't know how to act. It was crazy. Like everything just started flashing before my eyes. All the wonderful Kobe experiences. I remember telling Chelsea I ended up walking into, after I got off the phone with you, I went to the bedroom and sat in the corner and cried.
One of the reasons why you didn't get through to me was not because I didn't pick up, was because actually my wife Christina called me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she called me, and I remember it so distinctly, right? Like so vividly, actually. I remember picking it up, and she was like, "Hey, I just wanted to tell you this before you found out. I didn't want you to wake up to this, this news in like an intense or extreme way." And she said, "Kobe died."
Yeah.
And I remember being in bed, I was still kind of groggy. I was like, "What the fuck am I? Did I just hear right?" You know what I mean? I was like, "Can you say that again?" She's like, "Kobe Bryant just died in a helicopter crash."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Are you serious?" And I remember I didn't have the words, and I remember her just saying, "I just want to let you know, but we're on our way home." She was out with her sister. "We're on our way home. We'll see you in a little bit." And then as soon as I hung up, I think I got your second or third call, right?
Yeah.
And then I think I remember talking to you. He's like, and you were like, did you hear?" And I was like, I literally just heard. And then I think we talked about it for a little bit, and I think we were still in shock. And then after I got off the phone with you, I remember I did the exact same thing. I got up. I was home by myself. I don't know why I went to the corner of my room, and I sat there, and I just sat there. I didn't even look at my phone to see or validate if it was true. And then, text messages started coming in, and I couldn't even look at it after I talked to you. And actually, my wife found me in my room in the corner in the dark by myself, like sobbing. You know what I mean? Like, I can't believe this shit. And I don't even remember how long it was between me finding out or sitting in that corner to them coming home, but it felt like an eternity, and I just wanted to stay there. And it was rough.
I remember calling my buddy Douglas Rada. Yeah, the whole time he was in tears. He loves Kobe. He loved Kobe to the point where he fucking hates LeBron sometimes. That type of Kobe love.
Oh man, that's my boy then.
You and him have a lot in common in that regard.
Get him on the show.
It's crazy way to start 2020, and that was the beginning of all the other crazy shit that ended up happening that year. Or sorry, that year we're still in it.
That fucking never-ending year, the gift that keeps giving. I remember that, and I remember that right after that, actually, I didn't know how to react or respond or deal with it. But I remember one of the first things I did was I pulled out all my Kobe stuff, my Kobe gear, my Kobe shoes, everything. And like, I literally just kind of placed it in front of, in this area in my office, like right in front of the drawers and stuff. And like, I remember putting everything that I had of his right there and then, like a shrine almost. And I left it there for like close to 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks or something like that. And every day I just wanted to be next to his stuff. You know what I mean? Like all his shoes and like all his, the t-shirts I have, all his jerseys, the caps, and like every single Kobe thing I had, I just put it right there.
I remember on your birthday, people were giving you a bunch of Kobe stuff. I remember.
It was I mean,
funny.
like
I was going to give this to you, but then everybody was giving it to you. I'm like, I'm just going to keep it for myself then. I remember somebody giving me like, okay, so this is your copy that I end up keeping because you already. I remember seeing somebody giving it to me like, okay.
Yeah, I remember getting it. I remember, it was crazy because I know my birthday was something I actually didn't want to celebrate. You know what I mean? Because I think it was still really fresh in everybody's mind, but collectively, how we chose to celebrate it was more in honor of him than it was about my birthday. You know what I mean? Like we were like, we rented a gym. We were going to play basketball together. We were going to eat Korean barbecue later together,
It's funny. That day I pulled out some Kobe's that I stopped wearing a long time ago because the cushioning's all messed up. I'm playing these.
Yeah.
Killing me. I got home. I didn't play my new Kobe's. I played in some old Kobe's that, went to some really, really tough basketball battles in. Yeah.
I remember, was it those like the army green ones, the 8?
Yeah.
Your colorway that you have is pretty badass too. And truth be told, I have like, I have a lot of Kobe
You do.
gear. I think I have more Kobe gear than anybody I know.
Yeah, you have a lot. You're wearing a one of a kind Kobe necklace right now. So.
3 days after he died, I didn't know how to cope with it, but you know, my wife Christina, you know, best person ever. She's like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "I want something to remember him by."
Mhm.
She's like, "Let's like do they have necklaces?" And I looked, or something like that. And I was like, "No," and I have something else in mind that I'm really particular about. I kind of wanted like a certain thing, and she's like, "Well," so I went back to the jeweler where I got her engagement ring, my wedding ring, and so on and so forth. And I asked him, "Can you make this for me?" And what ended up happening was like it's weird. I mean, Kobe touched so many people's lives. He's like, "I understand. I understand what this means to you. I'm going to do my best." And so what ended up happening was that she ended up getting this made for me as a gift. You know what I mean? And what's special about this is that it's it's made of my birthstone, and it just so happens my birthstone is purple. Uh, so
Nice.
it means so much to me, and I got something engraved in the back. It's the Kobe system logo,
I love that. Logo.
and I have like 8 on one side and 24 on the other side. So and this was perfect timing because 2 years ago I lost that something that my dad gave me when I was a baby.
Green.
The green jade. Yeah, you remember, right?
Yeah, you wore that everywhere.
I wore that everywhere, and I lost it 2 years ago, the day that we found out that we signed LeBron.
Stop. The man won us a championship. Stop.
I know. I'm just talking shit, but like, truth be told, I think everybody can say that they're an avid and huge Kobe fan, and Kobe touched their lives and stuff like that, and we all have ways of dealing with it. And I think this was just kind of one of those ways that, we looked at Kobe as strength, as inspiration, and this is just something that, for me, I felt like, that I wanted, to keep by my side, as
I love it.
the worst part of it is I think people started trying to get their groove back again. I think we even went on a trip with some of our friends, and it was great. And then once we got back, COVID hit.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember getting a call from one of my friends that said that he knows a guy that knows a guy that there's gonna be the government's gonna declare martial law. It's like all that conspiracy theory stuff started blowing up all over the internet, and even I remember hearing that. I'm like, what? Is that true?
What was it that you heard? Because I think you also mentioned something in another episode about like you heard rumblings, overseas before it actually.
I wake up every morning. I'm always paying attention to what's going on in the world. Like I was concerned about the coronavirus because I had seen Bill Gates' TED Talk. I knew what. Just before all this, I knew what George Bush did with I forgot which there was some sort of virus or mini pandemic that scared George Bush enough for him to put together a pandemic playbook. Obama came in and expanded on that. So like I remember hearing about all those things like, damn, there's gonna be something. And then when I heard about what was going on in Wuhan, I'm like, holy shit. Like I knew it was going to be crazy when I heard about the Chinese doctor that the Chinese authorities, arrested and put away. I'm like, damn, because if they're hiding this thing, then it's going to be crazy. It's only a matter of time. Before the first lockdown, we hoarded a bunch of shit. About baked beans.
You were the one responsible for all that.
I mean, I didn't go crazy on toilet paper like other people did, but but I remember standing in line at Costco. I remember waking up really, really early when we had like I think 2 rolls of toilet paper left, and getting to Costco and finally getting it. It was like a glorious day, man.
I remember fucking going online ordering an assload of like ramen. And like, just like making sure that there was food and shit.
I bought a shit ton of ramen that I haven't even touched.
Me neither. You know what? I did buy a bunch of like pepperoni beef sticks too because I know they last a while. But I ate all that shit. That was a bad idea. I fucking ate all that shit.
Bought some ramen that was similar to what you used to make when we used to live together. Some cheap ramen. I remember you used to throw the egg in it. All right, that was you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. I bought it, and I remember it being delicious. So I remember when we saw it, I bought it, came home, made it, and it wasn't as good. What the fuck did I like this shit? It's terrible.
dude. All right, so I don't know. Maybe this is true, but who is it? Ken, Kathy, and a lot of people that used to come over to our house. They said the same shit to me. They're like, you know what, Pete? There's something about how you make it that's different. I tried to make this shit at home, and it just was not as good. And then you know what? After I realized, what it was, I was like, y'all put too much water.
Maybe, yeah, you're probably right.
Water, you guys got to let that sodium seep in. You got to taste that shit, man. You guys put too much water.
I thought it was because last winter I went on a ramen bender. Like I was eating like actual fucking delicious ramen.
Oh yeah.
So like maybe I just messed up my set that bar pretty high. This is instant ramen, but still like.
Nah, bro, come over. I'll make it for you. Come over. Yeah. What happens? I know you got a real refined palate, so just come over. We'll prove or disprove that.
I started dropping raw eggs in my ramen because of you. Like with the hot water, that was you. Yeah,
it was. I mean, it's college people food, right? Like it's actually a really cheap but tasty way to do things. But I do also.
So we have a shit ton of it. I haven't touched it.
So we started buying up stuff just like you guys did too. But then I started hearing about how remember those flights and ships are getting quarantined for like months on end or like weeks on end.
There are people on cruise ships, like a cruise ship cruise. The people who actually work at the cruise ships. There's actually some of them that still haven't been able to dock yet.
What? Right now?
Maybe not now, but I would say like 2 months ago, there were still people who were been out in the sea for like 6 months because no country would allow them to come in.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Man, that's fucking crazy, dude. That's fucking crazy. I don't even know what to say about that. But with that being said, George Floyd happened. Almost like right after that. Do you remember where you were when you first heard about this?
Yeah. I woke up. This is a fucked up thing though. Because even I've become desensitized to these sort of things. Black person getting shot by cops. I remember waking up, seeing it, and then my mind's like, "Oh fuck, here we go again." I didn't even read the article. I'm just kind of going through my morning routine, gonna make some breakfast. I'm like, it's another fucked up shit, And then for some reason, I decided to hit play on the video, and I broke down. I went and sat in the balcony. And I told Chelsea about it, and Chelsea was like, "Yeah, I heard." I'm like, "But did you see the video?" And she saw it. Yeah, but the sad thing, the thing that got to me the most is again, when I first saw, black person, killed by a cop, like it wasn't. Holy shit, what just happened? It was like, oh, here we go again, and it's sad.
Yeah, that's the fucked up part.
Yeah. And I don't want to be used to it but now it's like I have.
I remember you talking to me about was, why it was so personal for you. You know what I mean? Why it resonated with you. And it goes back to a time you told me about when you were a kid and you first got here. And for those of you who don't remember, from what I understand, the whole incident for George Floyd, right? Like I think it was initially about a fake bill,
$20 bill, yeah.
But I also remember you telling me a story about something that happened to you when you were younger, and one of the reasons why it hit you so hard too was that could have been you. Yeah,
because I remember unintentionally buying something in high school with a fake $10 bill. I didn't know it was a fake $10 bill. I had no idea it was a fake $10 bill. I bought something the day before, and when I went to that our little Belmont store area, I tried to buy something. I couldn't buy it. I didn't know. And I think it took away the $10. I'm like, oh shit, I got a $10 bill, and I was pissed that I got fake change. But somehow, some way, I had school police come get me out of the classroom, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And they took me to their office, and he was questioning me, and then he asked me if my mom was printing money at home. And at the time, like, I didn't realize how offensive that was, like, no, you know. Luckily, nothing happened to me. And, like, I told him exactly the truth. Like, hey, I didn't know it was a fake $10 bill. I wasn't trying to, I, I wasn't trying to steal something. I literally didn't know. But that resonated with me. I also, luckily at the time, like, I don't know how, but I had a different way of kind of interacting with cops. It was like, no matter what, the cop is right. No matter what, the cop's right. And no matter what, I want this interaction to end right away so I can go back to doing what I was doing.
I've always noticed how accommodating you were in those scenarios in which it doesn't even dawn on any other people as to why is he like that? Why does he have to be so accommodating? But it's like, if you don't do that, the truth is you might get shot.
Yeah, and like, with everything that's been going on, I know there are people in my life who will watch a George Floyd or Trayvon Martin, or just the different myriad of black people who've been shot by cops or things like that. They'll see, was it Philando Castillo, who's the one that I can't remember, but they'll always say, well, why was that person resisting? Why was he resisting? I'm like, I can't remember you thinking about that. Why were they resisting? Do you realize that even if they don't resist, they're still fucked? Because if you don't resist, then it's like, I always go back to what happened with the Central Park 5. Kids get picked up in the park for allegedly raping a white lady. They get thrown in jail for 20 odd years for a crime they didn't commit, and all because they listened to the cops. The cops told them, if you admit to this crime, you get to go home right away. So, in those scenarios, when a cop is talking to you, it's like you want to avoid conversation with cops at all times, because when you don't resist, you end up in jail, your life's over, or you end up going to jail and dying. If you do resist and you don't have a weapon on you, you get shot.
What was it that you felt about anything? I can't imagine it being one single thing.
This has been a rough year, and I think I've been fortunate enough to be on the positive side of things, where what's going on in the world hasn't really impacted me in any negative way. So overall, I could say I'm in a good spot. We need this shit to end, but
the Lakers winning meant so much for the first calamity we talked about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. The Dodgers winning was icing on the cake. And then technically, as we move into November, the election swinging the way it did, it gave everybody a bigger semblance of hope.
Mm-hmm. Well, not everybody.
For the record, for the majority of the people in this fucking country.
Yeah.
How's that?
Exactly right.
Not the minority, the majority. Mm-hmm. The majority of the people in this country, there started to be a semblance of hope again. But we're just getting started on this shit. But with that being said, though, I feel like there's a lot to be grateful for. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's a lot of work that was put in. There's a lot of things to celebrate. Unfortunately, we can't celebrate it all together or anything like that. But I mean, what are some of the things that, in light of, even in spite of 2020, what are some of the things that you're genuinely, specifically just very, very grateful for?
I'm grateful for Chelsea. Yeah, I mean, going to 2020 is first time moving in with someone, and moving in to me felt a little rushed, but it was a great opportunity. We found a nice space, and it was kind of scary because you didn't know what it would become, and with COVID happening and us being stuck at home together all day, as new couples that just moved in together, that could have gone really bad the other way. I heard that I read somewhere that a lot of divorces went up because of COVID.
I heard that too.
Yeah, but our relationship has flourished under it, and I think that she's helped me maintain my sanity. Um,
Mhm.
uh, she's pushed me to, you know, to be better. I think we both have pushed each other to be better. But I'm definitely grateful for that. I'm grateful for the fact that both of my sisters have been okay. Sheila Sheila wasn't working for a little bit, but grateful for the fact that she was able to find a career that, even though she wasn't working for months, she wasn't struggling. She wasn't, homeless or on the streets or anything like that. She's okay. Um, so like shit hit the fan in this country, and a lot of people were on the wrong side of it, and I'm it really sucks, and I'm thankful that, fortunately, that we weren't on the receiving end of a lot of that stuff.
Even in spite of all this, we have a lot to look forward to, right? The first thing is obviously that vaccine. I know there's a lot of jokes and there's a lot of things going around about that vaccine, but how do you feel about it?
It's the unknown. It's scary, but I will take it when my opportunity comes. I'll take it. I think there's a lot to say about it. I think it both, whether or not you take the vaccine versus not taking, I think both present a risk. One is more of an unknown than the other. I think going with, if you've never contracted COVID and you don't take the vaccine, you risk getting sick and ending up in a hospital. And right now we do have treatments that can bring you back, but those treatments aren't available to everyone.
Yeah.
You have to be part of the elite of the elite, the 1%, so it's like, I don't want to risk, having to go to the ICU or being fucking quarantined in my bedroom for 2 weeks. I just think, the vaccine is the way to go, but that's just my opinion. I know I don't like it. There's a lot of people in the Black community who are very, very weary of it, and their hesitation is justified with everything that's happened, to Tuskegee experiment and all the other stuff. At the end of the day, I'm really, really hoping that, this vaccine works out well. And I think I hope more and more people will follow the science versus, people spreading lies. I think at the end of the day, we all, as a country, we all have a vested interest in getting everyone healthy, because the rich people who run the world, they're interested in getting us back to normal, because the quicker we can get back to normal, the quicker they can make more money. So Pfizer has a vested interest in this working, because if it doesn't work, they're fucked. So like I don't see anyone wanting to vaccine someone for a nefarious reason. Like, we all need to get back.
I'm taking that shit. I mean, when it's my turn, I guess I'll take that shit. You know what I mean? I'll take the vaccine, only because I don't see any other way. There's literally no other way other than like protecting yourself against it, right?
But overall, I think when it comes to vaccines, there's a lot of the anti-vax movement is growing. But overall, like, I think people forget that the history of vaccines have done way more good than bad. Way more good. It's because of science that you don't have fucking polio anymore, or malaria. Like, we all got those fucking vaccine shots in school. So does every single vaccine shot that you get, are they perfect? No, they're not. But I would bet my money on a vaccine than someone's hunch.
I gotta tell you, man, like 2020 has been something else.
January 20th.
How do you think that's gonna go down, man? I mean, like, obviously it's not gonna be a big crowd, right?
I mean, there isn't gonna be a crowd. I think what's more is, how is he gonna leave the White House?
Oh shit! If he doesn't leave, I would love it if he doesn't leave, because the fucking Secret Service is gonna put that fool down and drag his ass out. They got to, right? Because then he's literally no longer the president, and he's fucking trespassing.
Crazy thing that gets me is that, like, this guy you trust keeps saying there was a lie, but then yet he hasn't presented you with evidence that was a lie. and then this person keeps losing in court. 60 courts, like you haven't produced 1 ounce of evidence, but yet people are like, so it's like it's not even a lie anymore. You're just trying to basically fuck up democracy. Like
that's exactly what he's doing. It's all smoke and mirrors. He's not even trying to fucking win the election anymore. He just wants to keep his fan base.
Because once he leaves office, people can come after him for stuff easy because he's not in power anymore. You know, I don't whether or not that's going to happen. You know, but
January 20th, guys, mark your calendar because you know there's obviously going to be something to look out for.
Just pop some champagne on January 20th, right?
Our first season was a lot of fun because of all you guys, and we hope you guys will stick with us going forward. You know, if you guys really enjoyed this, please remember to like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Ray, I just got to tell you personally, from my bottom of my heart, you know, I love you. Thank you for doing this with me, and you know, I love you, brother. Strength and honor. Appreciate you.
I love you too, brother. Strength and honor.
All right, yo, season 2 coming at you guys soon, man. Have a happy holiday.